And speaking of influencers, next we'll be connecting with 8-time Emmy winner Scott the Piano Guy Houston. He's joining us remotely to tell us about his Piano in a Flash online method for adults and seniors, which uses popular music, physical songbooks, and individual feedback to help students achieve their lifelong dream of playing the piano. For the holidays, Scott's promoting his Beginner's Bundle courses and is here to tell us all about it. Hello, Scott. Welcome to Savvy Living.
How are you? I appreciate you having me on.
Okay, Scott, you're clearly on a mission to help more people learn how to play the piano. Why does this mean so much to you?
I've been doing this for 20 plus years, probably zeroing in on 25 now, but I started, and I've been in the music industry for a long, long time, not only playing, but I was actually in the music publishing business, and we published a piano method, and sadly, I was front row and center for seeing kind of how not successful that usually is, and particularly for teaching children, and even more so for teaching adults. And after a long time of doing that, I kind of felt like I wanted to go back to the drawing board and say, look, I think the answer is that most people really don't want to go out and do this for a living. So why should we try to teach them as though they're going to go out and be classical pianists or go out and be concert pianists for a living? When the reality is that everyone just wants to sit down behind this big piece of furniture they've been dusting for 20 years and play some tunes, whether that's holiday tunes or, a happy birthday for a family member once a year, or just tunes that they know and love. And so I really went down this kind of laser focused track toward developing an approach to teaching people just that. And, like I said, 20 years later, we've gotten really good at it, and I'm really proud to know that I've had, very literally through the TV show on PBS and whatnot, tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people that are now sitting down, having fun playing, just for the sake of self-enrichment, and that really warms my heart.
Knowing you've created so much joy in these households has to be a great feeling. So what about age, though? Can you ever be too old to learn how to play the piano?
Well, I don't think so, Merilee. First of all, I teach strictly adults, so I'm kind of an odd bird in that way. I do not have any children that are, going through my online method. But because of that, I was able to focus on exactly that adult student, which is a really different animal. And I think it's one of the reasons that our online method works so well, because frankly, a lot of adults are not going to get in the car and go down the street to the local piano teacher once a week to show up and take a lesson they may or may not be ready for, or may or may not want to embarrass themselves in front of somebody for. And in this case, it's really 24/7, completely at the student's direction and desire of when they want to move on and how quickly they want to move on. And I just think it's kind of a better fit for an adult student. And the reality is we have students in their 80s and 90s quite regularly, but clearly we are focused on adults, and we have a ton of people that are either recently retired or getting ready to retire that say, my entire life I wanted to sit down and play a tune on a piano, and can you finally help me knock this off my bucket list?
You just mentioned many, but can you tell us more about why students like Piano in a Flash so much?
I think first of all, it's because they can taste how good it tastes really quickly. I mean, I'm talking about getting people playing tunes in days and weeks, not months and years. Now, I'm not trying to be, like I have a magic wand in some way, because frankly, I just don't need one. The deal is that I do not teach any classical piano, and alternatively, I teach all non-classical styles. And what that deals with is not having to be a great notation reader, and instead learning to play through using what's called chord symbols. And basically, it's kind of like the way guitar players play, but it's the way pro piano players play. And so I teach the way pros play, and it's just a phenomenally less tall mountain to climb at the beginning.
So with the holidays coming up, I really think Piano in a Flash would be a great gift idea. What are your thoughts on gifting something like this?
Man, what a great gift to give someone, the gift of music. To say, look, for the rest of your life, you're going to be able to sit down and just enjoy the kind of the the human nature beauty of being a music maker, not just a music receiver by listening to things, but to actually be a music creator. And to be able to do that on a piano is just a really, warm human thing that I think a lot of adults would really appreciate.
So what about any technical requirements or supplies? What's required to participate?
That's a great question, Merilee. Even though our online method is online, the video lessons are all online and our entire learning environment is online, but you do not need any sort of software to install or any cables or any sort of a, digital piano or a synthesizer or anything. As long as you have something, that kind of looks like this, as long as you've got something with white notes and black keys, you're good to go, whether that's a acoustic piano or a digital piano or a keyboard or whatever it is. Now, in addition to, the online lessons that we have, we will also send you a package that actually has course materials in it. And that's a book, depending on which courses you enroll in, and songbooks and some keyboard chord charts, some other stuff. So the idea is that you have online video lessons integrated with these hard copy materials that you'll have to work from hand in hand. And then in addition, you also have the option, and that is part of what you pay for in the enrollment, is to get personalized feedback from me should you ever have any questions. So it's I think we've kind of found a secret sauce, and we can honestly say it's kind of a better than live method in that you can do it on your own time, you can do it at your own house anytime, yet you're still not hanging out there alone. And if you ever have any questions, you can get in through our systems, and I'll respond with a personal response and to answer whatever questions or concerns that any students may have. It's really, I think we kind of found a nice mix for students, and it's clearly the most effective thing I've done in 20 plus years.
So Scott, why don't you show us a few of the simple things students can expect?
Sure, Merilee. I can show you a couple things right here. I'm actually sitting here in my studio. The difference between what we teach and traditional classical piano is that it does not require you to be a great note reader. So for example, I can just teach somebody a few chords, in 5-10 minutes. Say this is called a C chord. A lot of people got that very early in piano lessons if they ever took it. But, you don't need to read notation for me to tell you what these three notes are, right? So I can say, play these three notes, and then maybe let's just move up one white note the whole time, right? So I could do something like this. And then you play a melody line with your right hand, and I play. Right? Things like that. So it ends up being a situation where someone can just get in there and actually kind of taste how good and how sweet it tastes really quickly. Now, is someone going to go out and work a gig in the next 2 days, doing that? Absolutely not. But what you will do is start to understand that this isn't, number one, beyond you, but number two, this gargantuan, I could never get their task. It kind of gives somebody some light at the end of the tunnel. And I think I've found for adults that is absolutely key, because if I can't get somebody motivated and actually making something that sounds good very quickly, then I'll probably lose them. But the good news is we usually don't. We've got a tremendous success rate with this online method.
Well, it's a well-conceived approach that's certainly enriching the lives of so many with music. Thanks so much for joining us today on Savvy Living.
Appreciate the time to explain it all.
To learn more about Scott's innovative teaching method, just go to pianoinaflash.com/savvyliving.